Hello and welcome to TTV News. Some latest events in the province. The audience at the 4th National Online Conference of the Governance Steering Committee for Administrative Reform on April 19, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính emphasized that administrative reform is one of the three strategy brought tasks which the party and state pay great attention to leading, directing, and organizing. Accordingly, investment in administrative reform is defined as investment for development.
Ministry branches and localities have basically well implemented the motto administrative procedure reform associated with digital transformation, taking the people as the center. Reform plays a leading role under the support and promotion of technology. As a result, ministries have reduced and simplified nearly 2,200 business regulations in 175 legal documents, as well as made public and updated more than 17,800 business regulations, providing more than 4,400 public services online on the National Public Service Portal, 250 out of 261 online public services, with the participation of up to 55,000 businesses have been conducted on the National Single Window ASEAN Single Window, issuing more than 79.5 million citizenship multi-identity cards, activated over 6 million VNeID accounts, completing integration of 21 out of 25 essential online public services. The online population database has connected, shared and cleaned data with 30 ministries, branches and 63 localities, simplifying internal administrative procedures associated with digital transformation, promoting decentralization in handling administrative procedures are concerned and directed. In 2022, the Satisfaction Index of Public Administration Services, or SIPAS, and the Public Administrative Reform Index of PAR Index of ministries, ministerial level agencies, the People's Committees of provinces and centrally run cities reached over 80%. The conference pointed out shortcomings and limitations related to the slow progress in processing legal documents, overlapping administrative procedures in some areas, and the low rate of using online public services, etc. In his concluding speech, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính urged to stick to the resolutions, directive, conclusions of the central government and the state's policies and laws to direct and execute administrative reform tasks, promote, connect, and share data to ensure transparency, all for the benefits of the nation and people. Strengthen monitoring, inspection, evaluation, and accurately measuring the active results. Especially, it's necessary to stop posting responsibilities between agencies and sectors, between the central and local governments. In the afternoon of April 19, Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Ngọc, Chairman of the TayNinhTV Provincial People's Committee, chaired the Afro regular meeting to approve 15 contents submitted by 6 departments, including many contents related to investment projects. The Provincial People's Committee agreed with the content related to the investment policy of projects of thematic sightseeing area and resort on the top of Padang Mountain National Tourist Area, submitted by the Department of Planning and Investment. As for the content, adjustment of investment policy of the Trade and Service Center project located at number 50 Hoàng Lý Kha Street, Water Tree, TayNinhTV City, approved for investment policy in 2020. After a period of time not being able to deploy, the investor proposed to adjust the scale and duration of the project. Mr. Ngọc proposed to keep the project scale unchanged with 4 floors and assigned the Department of Planning and Investment to monitor and remind investors and handle in accordance with the law in case of violations. As for the list of projects attracting investment in TayNinhTV province in 2023, including 16 projects in various fields, Mr. Dương Văn Thắng, Vice Chairman of the Provincial People's Committee, requested the health sector to conduct research to add investment attraction projects of the sector to the general list. The Department of Planning and Investment is required to receive comments at the meeting to revise. Mr. Ngọc stressed that the list of projects to attract investment in TayNinhTV province in 2023 and the list of projects to attract investment in the field of socialization in TayNinhTV province by 2025 is to be proactively transparent in attracting investment. However, projects beyond the list should also be considered to facilitate investment attraction.
The audience, the 6th Vietnam-Cambodia Defense Policy Dialogue was held on April 19 in the province. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chính, member of the party's Central Committee and Deputy Minister of National Defense, and General Ninh Phra, Secretary of the State at the Cambodian Defense Ministry, co-chaired the event.
The two sides affirmed that ASEAN-led mechanism must continue to be promoted to boost dialogue and cooperation between the countries in the bloc and with external partners for the sake of peace and stability in the region. The two parties agreed that relevant parties should abide by DOC and striving for the early conclusion of COC in line with international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The two sides also affirmed that the situation of the border on land and sea of the two countries continue to be maintained. Border guard forces and border management forces of the two nations strengthen coordination in patrolling, protecting borders and landmarks, and effectively combating cross-border crimes. The joint gathering and repatriation of remains of Vietnamese volunteer soldiers and experts who died in Cambodia over the wars is carried out according to the 2023 plan. In the coming time, the two parties agreed to continue to maintain effective information exchange mechanisms, strengthen cooperation between military joint services and border management forces of the two countries, attaching importance to education on the history, meaning and importance of the good relationship between the two states, people and armies, especially for the young generation. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chính suggested the Cambodian Ministry of Defense to continue to pay attention to and support the Vietnamese community in Cambodia to have stable living conditions, support Vietnamese enterprises doing business in Cambodia so that they can contribute more actively to the common development of the two countries. In the morning of April 19, a briefing session of the State Bank of Vietnam TayNinhTV branch was organized to assess the performance of the bank. The interest rate tended to decrease in the first quarter compared to the beginning of the year. Outstanding loans under short-term preferential credit programs, agricultural and rural loans increased. Loans to support small and medium-sized enterprises increased. Meanwhile, export loans decreased. According to the assessment of the State Bank of Vietnam TayNinhTV branch, in the first quarter of this year, capital demand for production and business increased, especially during the Lunar New Year. The lack of restriction on credit growth, along with favorable processes and procedures, resulted in a high growth rate of outstanding loans. By the end of March, total outstanding loans reached more than 89,000 billion Viet Dong, increased 3.8% compared to earlier this year and up 9.5% over the same period. This increase is consistent with the situation of people and businesses accessing capital in the area. Mobilized capital reached more than 61,000 billion Viet Dong, down 0.04% compared to the beginning of the year. Leaders of commercial banks in the area also reported on their difficulties as implementing the government's Decree number 31 on the 2% loan interest rate support package and social housing loan package. Mr. Nguyễn Xuân Hiền, Director of the State Bank of Vietnam TayNinhTV branch, directed banks to pay attention to controlling bad debts and ensuring safety. He also asked them to pay attention to some businesses having difficulty in accessing capital. Banks are required to reply in written if refusing to lend, to expand non-cash payment services, ensure ineligible customers have access to capital, continue to reduce lending rates, and shorten the process of assessing loan appraisal.
Turn to Audi News. The audience launched in early February the Body Mountain Marathon 2023 has officially loaded its gate with the participation of 7,000 runners.
The second season in 2023 has attracted 7,000 professional and movement athletes from TayNinhTV and other provinces, as well as international brands, up from 3,000 athletes seen in the 2021 season. Particularly, this year's event has an additional distance of 42 kilometers. This is also a distance that attracts many professional athletes. Competing in the 42-kilometer distance, athletes will have the opportunity to explore famous destinations, take them through the legendary points of TayNinhT land such as Badam Mountain, Martinland, TayNinhT Holy See, or Gorgam Pagoda, etc. The Badam Mountain Marathon 2023 will take place in 2 days starting on April 22nd, with the Messiah's legendary run along with many organizational changes, especially this year running route has been carefully considered and selected by the organizing committee, promising to make a difference and attractiveness of this race.
The audience coming to Tampo where Khmer people are living in the commune to your district. We will meet a man who is not related to anyone in the village, but everyone knows and is happy to talk about him. That Mr. Nguyễn Văn Lực, head of the Tampo Hamlet Brown Working Committee.
Mr. Nguyễn Văn Lực, an over 70 years old man, is the king. But at first glance, everyone mistakenly thought he is Khmer because he is as proud as a berry and he can speak Khmer like a native. Taking up the assignment in Tampo in 2015, language barriers also made it a little difficult for him, but he has his own way. Every day he paid a visit to Mr. Chumbronran's home, the chief of Tampo Hamlet, took green tea and practiced speaking Khmer. And then he used it in his visit to the locals. Khmer is a truly difficult language for us to speak, but it's also very easy if we practice speaking every day. There are words that are mispronounced, and I have been taught by the locals here. People do such a thing because they love me. And that's my joy too. We must understand the language and customs of the people here to be able to work with them. He believes that if a cadre wants to get a job, he must be close to the people. He must do the three together. It means eat together, live together, and work together. Only then will we know, understand, and share with people at the right time. The visit to Mr. Nhật Bun's home is like hundreds of other visits to the people that he has made for many years. During the exchange, he also acted as an interpreter for us because Mr. Nhật Bun always spoke a little Vietnamese. Mr. Nhật Bun's family is one of the typical households in working hard and developing the family economy. He has 4 children, all of them are farmers. This year, the 63-year-old man is still working hard to set an example for his children and grandchildren in the family. Thanks to his grit and hard work, Mr. Nhật Bun built a solid house worth 1 billion Vietnam dong. Mr. Lực helps not only my family but also many people in this hamlet. He also takes care of everyone here. He visits the people in the hamlet every day. Not only Mr. Nhật Bun, but also many other Khmer people always bear the concern and support of Mr. Lực in their mind. Mr. Lực helps people in the hamlet with many things such as building houses of gratitude, roads, or helping the locals access the state's capital to raise cattle. In this hamlet, if people don't work in the fields, they will raise livestock at home. Almost everyone has a job, knows how to keep the environment clean, and send their children to school to improve their knowledge. It's the result of the persistent mobilization of Mr. Lực, along with the party cell and management board of the hamlet. However, he has never claimed that these achievements are his own, but also belong to the collective. Each successful harvest is my own joy and a motivation for me to keep doing it. The second thing is that every morning accompanying the hamlet board to check the whole hamlet and see that the people are at home, all of us feel very happy because it means that the people have jobs, have changed their life and great conditions for them to improve their living standards. Tamfo hamlet has a total of 213 households, with 987 people no longer have poor households so far. The life of the locals has improved significantly. As the border hamlet, border keeping is always focused. Mr. Luke said that for many years there hasn't been any case of violation of sovereignty and border security that is attributed to the dedication and responsibility of the rank official of the hamlet, Mr. Nguyễn Văn Lực, whom the Khmer people here have long considered as their family member.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today TTV News. Thank you for watching and see you next time.